Hey everyone, and welcome to my Palworld breeding guide. Breeding pals in Palworld can be a bit daunting, and it really comes off as more than it is. In this guide, I'll show you how easy breeding pals can be and how you can get some powerful pals in doing so. Feel free to scroll through the chapters. In this guide, I'll go over setup and breeding basics, egg temperatures, the best pals per chore, how to make cake, and I'll wrap up with how to get your desired traits on a pal. Let's get to it. To breed pals, you need a breeding farm. This is unlocked at level 19 in the tech tree. Once you've placed down your breeding farm, make sure you add one male and one female pal to the farm. They don't have to be the same pal. For them to make eggs, the pals require cake. I guess it makes them happy. I don't know. Make me happy. Anyway, one cake will yield one egg, and it'll take about 5 minutes according to some random Reddit post I saw. This may or may not be true, but the number sounded good. Breeding combos are probably the most confusing thing about breeding. With over 19,000 combinations, it's easy to see why people get overwhelmed at this stage, especially given how the offspring is determined via this scary formula. Fear not, it's really simple though. Each pal is given a breeding power. The lower the breeding power, the stronger the pal. When you breed two pals, the average of their power level is used to determine the child, rounded up. For an example, an Anubis with a power level of 570 and a Cativa with a power level of 1460 will yield a child with a power level of 1015. The game will round up to 1020, which is Robin Quill. That's all there is to the power levels. Do note that there are some special combinations that do not abide by the power level rule. I've attached the link in the video description. Take a look, as they may be of use. You will need an incubator for your eggs to, well, incubate in. This can be unlocked at level 7 through the tech tree. Each type of egg has its own ideal temperature. Eggs will hatch eventually in any temperature environment, but you can speed up incubation up to 100% if you set the temperature just right. Check out the image below for which temperature each egg likes, and experiment with heaters and coolers in your base to find the right combination. Different biomes have different temperatures, like the desert is hotter than the forest biome and so forth. Do note that day and night have temperature fluctuations. As night is much shorter than day, I don't recommend optimizing for both. Go for day. Cake is required to make babies, both in real life and in Palworld. In Palworld, however, there is a ratio of 1 cake to 1 egg. You can make cake by either creating a farming base for all the ingredients, or having a farming base for some of the ingredients and then buying the rest, like milk and eggs, from a merchant. Cake will not spoil when placed in the breeding farm. To make cake, you will need milk, eggs, honey, flour, and berries. This should all become available at level 15. I'm going to throw in this chart showing the best pals for each chore. Note how the best gatherer is Frostallion Noct, which is between a Frostallion and a Hellzephyr, which you can only get from breeding. I thought it was kind of neat. Anyway, on to the traits. Traits are where breeding gets interesting, and honestly really involved and fun. Like real life, and as many of you are probably aware, we inherit traits from our parents. Palworld is no different. Simply choose a parent with a trait you like, find a mate with a trait you like, and have them make babies. The resultant child will be predisposed to those traits. You can see this illustrated in this chart. Feel free to pause. Also note how runner was a random trait. You can get those too. Where it can get interesting is when you get a pal with a desirable trait, let's say trait A, but it cannot mate to make the pal you want. In this case, you'll have to do some pal mating feng shui to figure out essentially which family tree you're going to have to follow to get the desired pal. In this example, if you want a Shadowbeak with trait A and M, you can mate a Kitsune with trait A and an Astagon to get a Shadowbeak, which will be predisposed to having trait A, which you can then mate with another Shadowbeak, which has trait M, to potentially get a Shadowbeak with traits A and M. I say potentially because it's not guaranteed, just a higher chance to get these traits if inherited. We are wrapping up this video, so feel free to pause and check out this chart. I know it can be a little confusing, but it pretty much summarizes everything as far as trait inheritance for pals. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. Toodles!